We're starting here with Todd. Todd, you're with Allworth's Money Matters.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Great.
So I've been listening for several months, and I always enjoy your banter.
Thank you.
So I've got a couple questions today. I'll start out with the questions, and then I'll kind of backfill the information as you need it.
Perfect.
So my wife and I are in our 60s, and I've been mostly retired for about a year. And we've got 3 20-something children. And the question I have is kind of philosophical about that is, we call it strategic gifting. As they're getting started, we help them with Roth accounts, help them with 401ks, help them with HSAs accounts. We do it so that they can hopefully maximize that, whatever those opportunities are for them, because they can't do it on their own because of their income level right now. And for us, we have enough to retire on. So
you mean their income's too low, and so you're helping them?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Right. They just can't. They couldn't maximize
I get it.
those accounts.
I get it. It's hard in your early 20s.
Exactly. And so instead of kind of waiting to inherit stuff later, we say, well, this is strategic gifting, and we try to do it in a way that it's always an investment, and there's always a tax advantage potentially if they can.
Okay.
And we try to pair it with financial education. So my question about that activity is, what's your experience with clients when they do that with children in their 20s? And how much is too much of that? And, what are the pitfalls for doing those activities?
It runs the gamut.
It all depends on the child.
Right.
I mean, I've seen it in the same family where, wow, that's pretty exciting. This kid did incredible things with it. This person just did a terrible job.
Right. Well, as my dad would say, I've got one of each.
Okay.
So, my 3 kids. Now, to their credit, none of them, they've all kept the money in the accounts. So none of them have taken out money of the accounts, and they look at it as long-term money.
Okay.
So
okay. Well, I'd call that a success.
Yeah, I would as well.
I would call that a success.
Right. So we're about 2-3 years into it. So it looks like they're going to kind of hold fast and not take money out of accounts to spend it on, lifestyle stuff.
Okay. So
and I like to think of it as matching their efforts. And I stole this line from somebody else, but it resonated well with me because I've got my oldest daughter's 30. I've got kids, and I struggle with the same issues, right? But matching their efforts, and because money is a tool, and it's a magnifier, and if sometimes that tool can be used for great, beautiful things, and sometimes it can be used for disastrous things. And it's like the last thing you want to do is demotivate a child.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I'm worried about, is trying to ride that line of helping them and making sure that they understand the power of it, but not demotivating.
Well, I think you're doing a great job.
It sounds like a perfect way.
Yes. And so one of the ways to think about it is, if the money goes into a Roth, right, it's pretty protected, right? They understand what the idea behind it is, and that it's for the retirement. And the other thing that actually, and we've done it with, I've done it with my kids, and I have had clients that have done it all the time, which is when it comes to the purchase of the first-time home, is a loan to the child, typically 20% to qualify, so that they get below the PMI, payment mortgage insurance, on a down payment, and then forgiveness of that loan on an annual basis based upon the gifting levels.
Okay.
Right. So you and your spouse can each gift, what is it,
18,000? 38,000.
Is it 19,000 this year, something like that? So 38,000. So
right.
And I actually, nephews and nieces, where we're like, oh, okay, you've got the resources and you can use it, and then you charge a market rate.
Mm-hmm.
And you do have to have a loan agreement in place.
Yeah, I know how that works.
Okay.
I won't, another story. But
Okay.
I mean, the good thing, Todd, you're in your 60s, right? So you're relatively young. You know, odds are one of you are going to be alive in the 90s, maybe both you and your wife. So you got a lot of time here, and I like the fact that it's not like, I don't know what your net worth is, but it's not like you say, "Oh, kid, here's $1 million. Hopefully you do well with it." It's you're helping them out on some very long term financial investments, right? When you talk about the Roth and the 401k, those are really for their old age. And then as you see them progress in life, and if seem like they're doing well, then you can do more, and you can help them with the house. And I mean, the reality is, a lot of places, homes, they're so dang expensive that if you got a kid living in San Jose or Silicon Valley, there's no way they could afford a house like
Even a small 2-bedroom, one
yeah,
bath.
it's $1 million, more than $1 million. So
yeah. Well, I think it's true in a lot of other markets too.
No,
absolutely,
that's
it
correct.
is. Yeah.
That's correct. But
Yeah.
to me, it sounds
Yeah.
like you're doing a good. And if you worry about it, look at the first few years. I actually was gifting my children. I got copies of their statements of
Yeah.
their
I
brokerage
make-
accounts.
What we do is when we do taxes with them, we go over their accounts.
Oh,
and
perfect.
They show me the accounts, and I help them figure out how to monitor it. And one of them's using Monarch Money, to look at her cash flows.
Perfect.
And she's got an Etsy business too, so that's kind of
Are they?
educational.
And what are their
for her.
educations? Are they formally educated? Your children?
Yeah, my oldest political science major in college.
Oh, I'd watch for that. I'm joking.
Well, yeah, I know.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
We're working on the marketplace. So,
I'm joking.
My middle son's a union electrician. He's doing very well.
Perfect.
And didn't acquire any debt in that whole process.
Nice.
And my youngest is in college, and she's in her senior year, and she's got a pretty good Etsy business going. Right
Oh,
now.
nice.
That's awesome.
So
Kind
Wow.
of a nice surprise.
Wow.
if you're open and
She's got a business in college, making money.
Yeah, she's
That's
doing
good.
much better than she was profitable in the first year.
oh,
which,
good for
you know,
her.
is
It's
unusual.
yeah.
That's wonderful.
It's okay to sit down once a year with the kids. It sounds like you do, and have a family like this is what mom and
Oh,
dad
we
have.
do.
And
We're kind of sitting. I probably every 3 or 4 months, and it's almost to the point I have to be careful. I don't want to bug them too much.
Yeah.
Because if I don't want to make every conversation about money.
yeah.
So
Well, it's okay to have some.
I
no,
recall I recall a story, Todd.
yeah.
This was I don't know, a long time ago, but it resonated with me because this gentleman I think he was probably late 50s, 60s. We're doing his retirement plan, and we're talking about his kids. He had 3 kids. 2 were very responsible, had good careers, saving. He's trying to help them. And then I'm like, what about the other kid? Well, that one, he's somewhere in South America. We're not quite sure where he is today. And I said, what do you mean? They said, well, he'll work somewhere for 3 or 4 weeks, save up enough money so he can just travel around, and then he won't work for 3 or 4 months somewhere down in Latin America. And
Right.
they're telling me the story, and I said, maybe he's the one who's got this figured out. We're all working our butts off, planning all this complexity, and he's just enjoying life. But the reality is you have 3 kids. They're all going to be different. And some families are really careful about making sure whatever dollar amount they give to one kid, give it the same amount. And if they give one kid a certain amount in 1 year, they'll keep track of inflation to make sure that they give the next, the kid the same amount. Some people do. Other people are like, well, this kid needs more than the other, so I'm going to help this person in a different way.
We're staying roughly equal.
Yeah.
But it's your
We don't.
it's your choice how you want to handle all that.
But the reality,
Exactly.
if you're sitting down with them, once or twice a year and going over the finances, and you're pretty open with it. And look, I've found that the ones that it works best with, this is based on my experience with my clients, is the kids that actually understand that this money didn't land on mom and dad, that mom and dad actually worked for this money, and that it was important to mom and dad. All right.
Oh yeah, they understand that because I'm a first generation college graduate, and they know all that story.
Yeah. Perfect.
and I paid for my wife and I both paid for college. So
Perfect.
unfortunately.
Perfect. And you paid for a lot more college. You paid for 3 more college degrees as well.
Oh, one's an electrician.
Oh, one's an electrician. Anyway,
making more than the others. And
Well, he paid for his. So.
anyway, appreciate the call.